Hello everyone, I'm Felicia, your host. Welcome to the 8th episode of the Malaysian Students Podcast. Today, we're with our beloved podcasters. Let's invite Junjie,
Hello everyone.
Guohao,
Hello.
and Rishi.
Hello, everyone.
So after a long time not seeing each other, seeing all of you, how are you all recently?
Quite good.
Has it
Quite
been a long
good,
time?
is it?
I think
Missing
we are all
very
everyone.
busy
long.
for our exams, right?
Yeah, during these
Mm.
2 weeks are really packed because of exam week. Mm. How
I
about
think
Rishi? How are you? Yeah.
I think
I'm
even
getting
if it's not exam week, you guys are also very busy one.
Yep. Right.
Less busy lah.
I'm getting nostalgic about our school days.
Yeah.
Seriously. Those seem like such a long time ago. Yeah, missing
Yeah.
everyone, but life has to go on.
Yeah, for me, it works kind of the same. I'm quite packed and tired during these few weeks. So, but I'm still like insist on making this episode because, as you guys know, there are lots of things that happening in our country, like the movement, including the Black Flag movement, hashtag Kerajaan Gagal, hashtag Lawan, etc. And the politic recently isn't really stable. So that's why we chose to make this topic. So today, the main topic that we are revolving around is the political awareness among teenagers nowadays in Malaysia. To clarify, we are here to discuss this topic without supporting any of the parties, so don't sue us, yeah. I'm wondering, what did you guys notice about the political awareness among the teenagers? Is there any phenomena that made you think about the awareness level of the teenagers nowadays?
Yeah, in my opinion, I think I'm not sure the teenagers in Malaysia lah, but for my friends around me, I think they are less concerned about the politics. Maybe even they can't recognize some party's name or the politician's name. I think maybe because they are more focusing on the social media or hobbies they like, and they think that politics are something very far from them. So they are always like get rid of politics and don't care about or don't pay attention about our political awareness. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I actually do agree with that. Like I think our friend group are quite similar. For my friend it works the same. I think the political awareness on the average teenagers in Malaysia are noticeably low. So I have came across an article talking about the political awareness, and it said like it gave few statistics shown that people in Chinese community are not really into politics if compared to the Malay youth. And I quite agree with that. Like a phenomena in Twitter is that you can see lots of hashtag including Kerajaan Gagal, hashtag Dengki Ke, and lots of political jokes and memes are made by Malay youth if compared to the Chinese youth. That's what I observe.
Are you sure that they are
What
youth?
about
Are you sure that
yeah
they are youth and not young adults?
yeah?
No, they are
I think
youth.
I think they are youth because I did follow like few page made by youth.
Ah, okay.
I'm wondering how Rishi think about that.
For my opinion, in Malaysia, it's nearly like a thread, or you can even say it as a taboo to talk about politics, especially for students. Lah. It's almost as it is like politics is something shouldn't be discussed. As we know, Malaysia, we are a multiracial country. Anything that goes outside the boundary, like if we say anything that kind of singgung the others, it's taken as a big issue. So
Mm.
in one of that, politics is also a big thing in that. So there are also parents or teachers who say to tell students to choose between focusing on their studies or the politics.
Got me?
It's not very obvious, but if you try talking about politics at school, what is the first thing they would say? Don't discuss it at school.
Yeah, yeah,
Don't,
yeah.
yes, right.
They
It's
Yeah.
will say
something like we see it like a threat. So that's why, because of that, teenagers, they don't even have the inclination or the desire to know about politics. That's what I think lah.
Yeah,
Mm,
and
true.
one interesting thing that I have heard today, which is before the recording, I I heard Pon Marina Mahathir. She shared a quote. I think that is very inspirational for me. She said that there is no topic that is sensitive. The one that is sensitive is the way we approach it. So I think as long as we have a correct way to approach the topic of politics, it is actually we can actually we can actually get benefit from knowing politics, and we'll talk more about it later. And since we are talking about the political awareness, and you guys think that it is quite low, so from your guys' opinion, what's the factors that cause the teenagers not following politics?
I think one of the main factors is school would discourage students to learn about politics because yeah, as you guys mentioned before, whenever we mention about politics, it just gets shut down by teachers and school personnel.
Oh, I think that can be a reason, but I don't have any experience like talking with friends about politics in school, so I don't really know about that. But one thing I do like agree with the factors that induces the situation where youth don't really know about politics is that it is way too complicated. Do you guys agree with it? Like you can see the politics is not stable, and uh, the politic landscape is keep changing with the time. So in order, you need to juggle with study, you need to juggle with your personal development, with your hobbies, and if you want to be always up to date to politics, it is challenging,
I think I don't have to always
right?
be up to date lah, but at least know the few basics and stuff like that. And maybe whenever you check social media, like for me, whenever I check Twitter is where I get my main source of political news from like countries around the world, especially Malaysia.
Oh, but I think the basic
I
sometimes is
think
also
that,
changing, right? Yeah, yeah.
oh, okay. I think some teenagers, they think like what Rishi said, is kind of sensitive topic to talk about politics. And so they are not willing to talk about it during at school or even at home. Maybe their parents don't encourage them to touch on these kind of topics because they think like politics is a disorder. They think there's no
Mm,
hope if you get involved in politics because some of us like have a concept that if you get involved in politics, you have just you just have a one way. Yeah, no
mm,
other choices for you to change or whatever. So
mm.
maybe they think that politics is a sector that maybe the future is not as bright as other sectors are.
Oh, I see. I actually do agree with that. Like the political powerlessness is one of the reason that made youth are not interested in politics, instead of they are more passionate in gaming, technology, or etc. like this.
Oh,
So
go ahead.
so relate to that question. Do you think it's beneficial for us to expose to the politics at this age?
Do you mean I think
Mm,
above 15 or 16 years old? Yes, but anything below that, well, it depends on whether that individual has actually mature enough or not. But
Mm.
15 or 16 years old and above is most definite.
mm. Why do you think that have a mature thinking is important for us before exposing to politics?
Yes, you also need to know like why this person
Mm,
do this, and why this
mm,
guy do this. Because if a person is not mature enough to understand like a certain things about the political landscape, then they will just like
mm.
spread
I
false information or like spread things that may be false about a certain news.
Oh, yeah. I
True.
think having critical thinking when you are knowing political stuff is really important to make sure you are not bagai lembu di cucuk hidung, like follow people without knowing
Oh
the
yeah,
real situation.
yeah.
True, true.
Mm.
Especially when people read like comment section of like a post something like that, they can easily be swayed by other people.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with that. So, what do Junze and Rishi think about like the benefits or the downside for youth to know about politics?
Yeah, I just share my experience. When I was
Mm.
young, like a small kid, I was affected much by my family because they are really fond of politics issues or the
Oh.
topics about politics. So I was also exposed to politics since I was quite small. But during that period of time, I just like Felicia and well said, there are something that will influence your judgment about politics. Maybe you still don't have the critical thinking and you are still young, you still don't know the something about politics which are true, or you don't have the knowledge about it. But
Mm.
when you are getting older, you can just try to explore yourself. At least you can try to recognize some parties, try to recognize some politicians, and you can search what are they doing, what are they contributing, or what they do for this society. Maybe we can try from this, and we can see about the Malay news, Chinese news, and Tamil news. We want the different aspects about
Perspective.
politics,
Yeah.
perspective about politics, so that it can kind of make us think out of the box.
Oh.
Yes,
Yeah. So I can see from Junse's opinion, as long as having critical thinking skill, exposing to politics is has greater beneficial over the disadvantages, right?
greater advantages.
Yeah. Okay. So from my own opinion, I'm quite similar with Junse. Like I won't say that exposing to politics is completely good. Like for my case, especially recently seeing those bad news like made me feel really depressed, and it actually affected my emotion as well. And for my own case, I'm different with Junze. I wasn't really into politics until form 3 or form 2. Then I learned a bit about politics, but I'm not really expert, but I did follow some current news. And from my own case, I think what I learned from politics is it trained my critical thinking skill and always keep me up to date. Like it sometimes can become a topic that I can mingle with other people. And but we're not talking about the radical stuff lah. And for me, uh different from what we learn in school, like the subject like sejarah or any subject, politics seems like more lively because in the textbook our syllabus is already out of date after they publish, but politic landscape is something that will change. And then so I think it gave me benefit more than disadvantages too. Yeah, so I'm wondering like what's Rishi thought on that?
If you talk about politics for younger people, not older people, for younger, like as Koha said, less than 15 or 14, politics can be viewed as how to assess a situation. As you all say about critical thinking and also about being judgmental, it's true that we
Mm,
can make wrong judgments, but after watching them or after following the news and everything, you will kind of get used to how to make good decisions. So for younger people, it's just to train their mind to think rationally and to think in a way that it benefits everyone. But as you get
mm,
older, not only Malaysian citizens, if you're a citizen of any country, it's our duty to know what's happening. If you are in a country without knowing anything of what's happening outside, it's no use. Because if something
mm,
suddenly happens and you're not aware of it, you won't be prepared for it. If any changes happen in the parliament or whatever, anything that happens to the political landscape will affect our life as citizen in the country.
yes.
it's beneficial if the person, if they're young, just use it for training a mental capacity. But if you're older, use it so that you can benefit from it, so you can
Yeah,
can prepare for everything.
I totally agree with that. Like knowing politics is also knowing what's your right and what's happening in your nation, in our nation, and it kind of like elevate the patriotism among all Malaysia citizens. And one thing I think about, especially youth, need to really know more about politics because youth is the future leader of the country, and our our politic actually, our government actually need more new blood and fresh ideas to be instilled inside in order to achieve great advancement. Yeah.
True. And one thing is, we really requires the youth power in politics, because nowadays, you can see our politics is really unstable because we are lacking of people who are advanced in politics, and we need the youth power. We need the new thinking, and we want to make it more diversified. Don't just only
Mm,
always the same people, always the same thing. We need to implement more and more to make our country better. See, this is what we want.
yeah, that's passionate. I really love that. Like traditional mindset somehow stop the development of our country. So it's crucial for us to have more young power
Hmm.
in politics. Mm. Speaking about young power and youth in politics, do you guys know about Undi 18? And what are you guys' point of view on that? Is the government? Do you guys think it's good to lower down the voting age from 21 to 18 in Malaysia?
I mean, it's quite a controversial thing to talk about because on one hand, um, a lot of people during their high school years aren't really exposed to politics because of how our school are, and when if the political voting age is at 18, like some people maybe are uh just reach out towards the political world and may vote for the wrong person. However,
Mm,
if you lower down the voting age to 18, can have benefit as well because it allows uh future generations to vote for their future.
mm,
But
True.
21 years old also has benefits because, as I said earlier, 18 years old, maybe some people are just reaching out towards the political world, and 21 years old is like 21 years, they are quite matured already. So, yeah, it's a very controversial one.
yeah, it has
Hmm.
been a world old debate. Like many people debate about this Undi 18 stuff.
I think if we really want to implement this, we have to do a very specific statistics among our citizens, like
Mm,
among like 18 to 20 years old citizens. We want to see what's the level of their political awarenesses. If they are really uh, not mature yet about the politics, maybe it's better to remain the same 21 years
mm,
old for them. But one benefit if you lower down the undi, umur undi is like maybe just like what I say, the young power, and you can see maybe the parties that always win. Maybe this time is not the same. Something may
mm.
change. Maybe you can bring up some surprises to the politics. Yeah.
Oh, so I do agree with that. Like, need to do a specific research about the political awareness. I'm wondering about. Do you guys know there is a concept called as left wing, right wing? In Chinese, is 左翼,右翼. Because I know this concept in Chinese. Do you guys heard it before?
No.
Okay, so basically that concept is about uh the left wing is categorized by the ideas such as uh freedom, equality, progression, but the right wing is more to the tradition one and the nationalism. So there are the difference. These are the difference between them. And normally because that one is also something controversial to talk about. But generally, left wing would support Undi 18, while right wing will support the voting age remain. Can, yeah. And for me personally, I support this Undi 18. I do understand that you guys worry, what you guys worrying is that the immaturity among youngsters that they will do a wrong decision. But I think that's the cost we need to pay to reform a democracy and to let the nation have a better progression, because voting is actually everyone's right, including the youth, and it is a way to get youngsters to involve in politics. And maybe if this movement really get done, maybe I'm saying maybe more and more people will try their best to know more about politics, because they need to do a decision at 18. I'm thinking, is that possible or what? So I personally support that Undi 18. I can I hear from Rishi, like, what's your point
Yeah,
of view?
I agree with Felicia's point of view. It's just that it doesn't matter whether they make the right decision or wrong decision. Not as it doesn't matter completely, just that it doesn't matter as long as they're included in the process. As we talked earlier in the episode, that teenagers are not exposed to politics at their age lah. But if 18 is the age that they have to make a decision to choose the party that will rule them for like the next 5 years, they will have some kind of motivation to know it.
Mm,
True. This will cultivate their political awareness earlier as well.
yeah.
And as Junji said, we need new blood, like new ideas and all. It's just that if they choose someone, they would choose, even if they choose wrongly. Just for instance, they choose wrongly, they will learn from it. Rather than suffer from it, they will learn from it. And during the next voting, they will make a better decision. This also trains them to make decisions that benefits everyone in the long run, rather than just doing it for the sake of making a decision. It will educate them how to do it properly.
Yeah, I agree with that. So a question just popped up in my mind is that, in your personal opinion, since like most of you guys uh seem like support this Undi 18, then do you think school should implement a comprehensive education about politics
Maybe around 16 or 17 years old.
in our syllabus, right? You mean?
Now here's the thing. Everything in our education system, especially for 16 and 17 years old, everything we have is either um you include it in exam, or you, if you don't want to include it in exam, then don't include it in the syllabus. So if they were to include politics into our syllabus, then don't have it as an examination.
Oh, just like only information. Yeah.
Yes, just informative.
Yeah, informative. Like arouse their interest in politics. I think that it mostly depends on the ruling party, because the ruling party will decide the policy, right? Although it need to pass through the parliament or whatever, but mostly the Ministry of Education will decide of it, and they will see the benefits or disadvantages of implementing this political comprehensive education. But I think for now, our government will not do that. But I think
Yeah.
that the school teachers, they can expose, like just like what I said just now, the party's name, some famous politicians, let all the students know. Let them know more about politics and not just always get rid of it.
Yes, I do agree with that. Like, instead of saying some controversial stuff about political situation, the teachers can actually tell about the spirit of the politician or any crisis they face, how they solve it, to let students learn more. That's quite good. But I think it is a bit impossible to let Ministry of Education prove that in implementing the comprehensive political education, because they will think like it will spark activism and people want to revolt. Mm.
Like pemberontakan.
Yeah.
There's one thing with the education system. Okay, for example, we're all studying history, right? Sejarah. We learn about the past political happenings, like who started Malaysia and how it was signed, how the constitution was built up, and everything. We know, we nearly know the entire structure, how it happened. But if you ask the same question to someone living in this era about the current politics, do you think they will be able to say out the same way they say in the past? No, right?
Of course, no, right?
We know more about the past than the present.
Mm.
True, true.
So if you know both of it at an equal pace, you will know how it was, how it is, and we can make an idea of how it should be or how it will be in the future.
Mm.
That's my point of view, lah.
I personally think that teachers or Ministry of Education should consider like maybe editing or implementing something new inside our syllabus, because for me, I'm studying this, I feel like sometimes the thing that we have learned cannot be combined to the present, and simply that is useless. And yeah, please don't sue me. That's my personal opinion. Mm.
Now we understand that it's for cultivating patriotism in our hearts. It's true. It's just that if we learn more about it in the current politics, we can correlate both of the ideas so we can understand the concept better. Rather than just doing it, just talking about the past and all, we can correlate it to the present so that it makes more sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this syllabus can be added into the pendidikan moral.
Oh,
that that could be a possibility.
Yeah,
that seems good. Like we learn about perlembagaan persekutuan, and I think that's quite fun to learn in moral,
yes.
because moral seem like always the answer is same one, and idealism subject yeah, I think that's quite good.
Okay, I can feel that many students are starting to agree with the others.
Oh, please don't kill us.
No, they feel like, all right, already topics so much, you want to add more topics to moral. Lah. Hope it doesn't happen.
Yeah, I
It's
think
just that
if we have, yeah, move on.
it's just that it's more informative if we know about it in a lesson we learn, rather than just learning it outside. If it's at school, we have to learn it in a way, right? So it kind of does the both of the thing at the same time.
Yeah.
Make it kind of informative one.
So I think it's a good time to end this episode. I hope you guys are being in a good state and your mental health all are stable. Stay safe and healthy. So here is a quote that I would love to share with you guys from Mahatma Gandhi. He said that anyone who says they're not interested in politics is like a drowning man who insists he's not interested in water. Enjoy listening. Bye bye.